Hello, everybody. Welcome to our craft along for November 2024. This class is going to actually feature the Winterly Treetops Bundle and the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper. Several of you said that you wanted to see some projects using the bundle and that really beautiful paper. And so I thought it was well suited for a craft along. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, for those of you who ordered the craft along kit beforehand, hopefully you had an opportunity to prep your supplies so that you can craft along with me today. If you would like to prep your own supplies, I do have the PDF tutorial in my PDF store. You can just go to my blog at Simply Sweet Ink Designs, and that tutorial is available for purchase in my PDF store so that you have all of the pretty pictures. You can print it out and have it ready to go. Hello, Karen. Now I'm just going to give people maybe about 30 seconds or so to get the notification that I am live for today's class. Now, like I said, if you got the pre-cut kit, you already got the PDF tutorial emailed to you. There's also two on the cover sheet in your project kit. There is a link for the tutorial, so you can access it that way as well. If you need to, you can watch the replay. I will be emailing the video link afterwards, and that way you can craft along, craft at your leisure. If you come back and you're watching this later, you can just prep your own supplies and enjoy making the projects. All right. Hello, Tina. Hello, Barbara, Dawn, Kelly. Awesome. Thank you for joining me. All right, let's see. Okay, cool. All right, Karen set her alarm. Thank you. You're awesome, Karen. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the projects. It should be very, very simple today. For those who got the pre-cut kit, you actually had a lot of the work done for you. There was just a little bit you needed to do to cut out some images from the designer series paper and then just cut some layers from the paper as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera down, show you what products we're working with, and then we'll get into the projects. All right, so like I said, it is using the Winterly Treetops bundle. And of course, it comes with, when you buy it as a bundle, it comes with the stamp set and the dies, so you can save the 10%. Beautiful, beautiful dies. Now, I will tell you, if you ordered the pre-cut kit, I did something I don't normally do, and I die cut your greenery piece for you. I don't know if I'll do that again. That was kind of a pain, but it is so beautiful. I wanted to make sure you had that piece, and that was really the only thing that you really had to have the bundle for. And so I thought, well, I didn't want it to limit you, so I went ahead and I die cut that piece out for you. And then I figured if you needed to manually cut the birds, you could do that. I love these two dies from the set because they actually work with the designer series paper to cut out the images from this particular print. And this is the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper. Beautiful winter birds and scenes. This one, I manually cut out a bird for one of the projects. You got a little snowy background. I I manually cut out some pine cones for one of the projects. And so I used a variety of these papers in today's project. So I just wanted to share with you, if you haven't seen the paper, how beautiful it is. This is the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper. You may not be able to see it in the camera, but there's some tiny little footprints, little birdie footprints there. All right, and then I used this in one of the projects, and this is the birch embossing folder, which creates a really cool wood look in the background for one of the projects today. All right, so those are the projects that I used today. These are all available in my Stampin' Up! Store, and you can always find that at my blog at Simply Sweet Ink Designs. These are the 4 projects that we're going to make today. 3 of them are cards, and one of them is a treat holder. This actually has 2 Ghirardelli chocolate squares in there, but if you want, you can add a gift card. You could add the other little small treats as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get my supplies in place, and we're going to start with card number 1, or project number 1. This is what I call the Thinking of You card, and there is the quick reference to show you the basic measurements for the card. And so I'm going to set this off to the side to remind me. Now, so let me get my glasses on so I can see. Now we're going to start off with the Pull Party card base. This is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock that is scored in half at 5.5 inches. Then you're going to add your designer series paper layer, which this one measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. This is going to get glued right here on the front, just to give us a really subtle woodsy background going on there behind our greenery. So let's go ahead and let's put this piece on. And then we're just going to center it. And I did make it just a little bit smaller than my overlay layer for the greenery. So to make sure that we can cover all those edges. Now this is the piece that was die cut out with the greenery. This is just in basic white. Die cut from the Winterly Treetops bundle. And while I am poking all of this out, I love it, but it's got a lot of little bristles here that have to be maneuvered. So y'all can be working on your layers, getting those on while I'm working on this. Just got to be a little patient with it. There we go. And then I need to pop out a few little things here. Finish cleaning that up. Let's see, a couple more. All right, so once you have all those popped out, we are going to just add glue around the perimeter here on the back. And we're going to glue this onto our card front. Now, I will tell you, I probably would do a little bit of glue along the greenery as well. Just to adhere it just a little bit down these little lines here, just so that it adheres a little bit better. All right, so we're just going to glue this right here on the card front over our designer series paper and just center it. So pretty, so pretty. All right. To me, this greenery piece is the highlight of the card. Now, if you need to go back in later, you can probably like glue more down, but when we put on our next layer, which is going to be the circle, it's going to keep a lot of that down for us. So we don't really have to worry too much about getting all those little greenery pieces flat. All right, so for this one, I die cut out a, let me see, we are at a 3-inch circle. This, I use the Stylish Shapes dies in Pull Party cardstock. And so this is going to get popped up with dimensionals. Just to add a little lift to this part of the card. All right, so I'm going to have it kind of just a little above center because I want to leave room for my sentiment underneath. So probably about there. What is that? Probably about 1 inch down from the edge of the white piece. And then this was die cut out from the designer series paper. So I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. Like I said, really the designer series paper, die cutting the bird was the main thing that you needed to prep for today. Everything else was done for you. Your stamping you can do along with me, or you can come back and add that layer. All right, so I want to line up the edge of my branch at the edge of my circle so it looks like it's terminated right there. And I'm just going to pop that up. Then I die cut out a banner label with the Stylish Shapes dies in the basic beige cardstock. I wanted it to be just a little bit of a color contrast without getting too dark. And so I'm going to stamp the sentiment, which says, "Thinking of you" in early espresso ink. And our ink pads right now, did y'all see that? They're on sale. The re-inkers, the ink pads, markers, blends, they're on sale. I think, what, 10% off till tomorrow. All right, so "Thinking of you," and this is just going to go right here in the middle. And then I'm going to, let's pop it up with dimensionals. And I am just going to kind of sneak it here underneath the little branches here and the tail of the bird. Actually, it could come down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so I have this, but I want to bling it up a little bit. And so originally my thought was, and like I did on this one, I used the Natural Tones linen thread, but I ran out and I wasn't able to order it in time to be able to send with the kits that for those who register for the craft along kit. So I had to substitute with linen thread. And at first I was a little bummed about that, but then somebody a couple weeks ago when I was making a project with this bundle was like, hey, you could substitute and just color your linen thread with blends. And I thought, oh my gosh, so genius, perfect. And I actually kind of like it better that way because then you can make it whatever color you want and you're not limited. So I'm going to share with you how to do that if you're not familiar with that process. And then I'm going to show you the ones that I actually colored, and because I wanted to let them dry a little bit before today's live, but I am going to show you how to color your linen thread so that you can make it however you want, whatever color you want. So I like to use, now I will tell you, now I did use a glass mat to be able to do a long length. So if you have a glass mat, that's awesome. But if not, if you have a silicone mat, you can use that. And so I'm going to move everything out of the way. And I'm just going to take a short little piece here. Now I will tell you, it's a little bit messy because you get the ink on your fingers from the blends. So what I like to do to kind of help protect my fingers a little bit is I take a piece of tape and I'm just going to tape down. Let me move that up in camera there. So that way I've got one, that's kind of like my extra helping hands right there on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some blends. Now I'm going to do Cherry Cobbler. To me, this was my favorite of the ones that I did. I'm going to take the brush tip because that's broader and it's going to get more ink on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of gently stretch my linen thread and I just start coloring. And then I kind of would go underneath, try to capture the other side. And that's how you do it. Really, really simple. Now, because the blends are an alcohol-based product, once that alcohol dries out of the product, then or out of your ribbon or your thread, then it will kind of set into your ribbon. Now, if you want, you can take a paper towel and wipe off the excess, but I would just leave it a few minutes, let it absorb into your product, and let that the alcohol evaporate. Okay, and then you should be good to go. All right, so that's what I did. I went on ahead, I did some last night so they could be thoroughly dried for today. They actually dried after a few minutes, so it really wasn't too bad. And I did one in the Cherry Cobbler. And so I'm going to just pop this or put this on with a mini glue dot. And I think it coordinates beautifully with those berries in the branches there. There we go. Now I want to do one other thing, and that is embellish the ends of my sentiment with the Earth Tones Shimmer Gems. You know what? I think I told you the wrong thing. I think it's Natural Tones for the linen thread, and then it's Earth Tones for the gems. I keep getting those reversed all the time. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bling here on each end of my sentiment label. Just add a little extra sparkle. Kind of give it a little wintry glisten there. And then that is project number 1. So I'm going to clean up and I'm going to give you a moment to just kind of catch up. And I'm going to see if there's any comments or any questions. And then we'll move on to project 2. I see more of you joined on. Hey, Jeanne, Nancy, our other Nancy. We have a couple of Nancys on today. Hello, Carol. Thanks for joining me. I know several of you got the craft along kit. So were you able to get your supplies prepped for today? All right. Okay. So I'm going to remove my quick measurements right there. That's for project number 1. I'm going to set it off to the side and I'm going to bring in project number 2. So for project number 2, we are going to make, let me get this here. That's project number 2. It's called Thinking. Oh, wait. Were they both called? I must have not changed my thing. That's not the right card. Let's see. Thinking of You. It was supposed to be the Happiness Bird card. Sorry, skip that title. It's called Happiness Bird card. And I was reusing, but yeah, my measurements are correct. So that's the important part. All right, so I'm going to get my supplies in place. So if you're still working on that card, it's right there in the corner for you. Now for this one, this takes a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock that measures 4 1/4 again by 11 inches, scored in the middle or folded in the middle at 5 1/2 for our basic card base. And then I use that really pretty birch embossing folder to emboss a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm just going to glue it right here on the front. Jeanne has a great suggestion. Have I tried dragging the linen thread on top of a stamp pad to put ink on it? I have not, but that is an excellent idea to do. I'm going to have to try that next time. Thanks, Jeanne. I love that idea. See, when we're together, we can share creative ideas. All right, so I'm just going to glue this on the front here. Then what I did, I'm going to show you the finished card. It's right here. That way you know where we're headed here. So this is the card we're making right now, project number 2, called Brings Me Happiness. I just embossed the background, glued it on to the front of the card. Now I'm going to add a piece of designer series paper. Now this piece comes from this one right here. So I just cut a piece that measures 2 1/2 inches and I cut it down to 5 1/4, just whichever set of birds that you want to put on there that you want to show, that's what you can add there. So I'm going to glue this here on the left. And then I'm going to take this die cut circle again with the stylish shapes dies in basic beige cardstock, and it is a 2 1/2 inch diameter circle. Now the circles I'm sharing with you today, I'm just sharing with you what I used, what I prepped in the kits. You can use really pretty much any size similar circle. It doesn't have to be exactly this size. So I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. And I'm going to just put it kind of right here. And then I'm going to take a piece of basic white cardstock. This measures 1 by 4 inches, and this is where I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now, my sentiment is a friend like you brings me happiness. Again, I'm using early espresso ink. All right, I'm going to try that again. If you notice my stamp, it's a little higher, and so I need to bring it down just a little bit. So I'm going to flip it over. Let's use the back side, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit. See if I can't get that. Yeah, that's a little bit, just a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to glue this just right here underneath my circle. And then just have it go end to end there across the card. And then I'm going to, this is one of those other birds that you can die cut out from the designer series paper. And so I'm going to pop this up with a couple of dimensionals. And on this one, my bow fell off. So I'm gonna have to add another bow. I am thinking I am going to use, now this one I use pecan pie to color my linen thread. And so I'm just gonna pop that right there with a mini glue dot. And then add a little bit of bling. Where is my bling hiding? Oh, there it is. All right. Let's put one right there. All right. So that is card number 2. All right, so I'm going to remove card number 1. This is the first one we did. Put that off to the side. I'm going to move it. Like this one, my bow fell off. It's somewhere around here, and I'm going to put this one up in the corner. All right, I'm going to give you a moment, kind of catch up. And okay, Jeanne says for inking it, the linen thread with an ink pad, she uses a bone folder to, let's see. I hold the thread down with the bone folder and then you run it through. All right, that's a great idea. I actually have a really old bone folder that I use for anything that's I know is gonna get inked up and stain. Like if I am adding like a refill to my ink pads, I will take that old bone folder because it's gonna get stained really bad. And so I keep that one bone folder just for inky, messy things like that. All right, so I'm going to switch this out and I'm going to add in the measurements for project number 3. Now again, if you have the PDF tutorial, either whether you purchase the pre-cut project kit from me or if you purchase the PDF separately, you can follow along with those instructions, all right? And you can come back, watch the replay if you need to do that, okay? Jeanne, I'm taking it you also have a bone folder reserved just for those inky messes, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to ruin my pretty bone folder. All right, my regular one I use. Okay, so we're going to do for project number 3, it's just what I call a very simple fun fold. And it just opens up like this and you can add a little cute little thing in there if you want to. You could put a gift card there if you wanted, like use a mini glue dots to adhere it. And what I really love about this is the layering, the stacking of the circles to add just really cool effect. And then you have this little, it uses the deckled circle dies, and it gives it kind of a snowy snowball effect in the background. There's a nice little ring right there to kind of go along with our wintry theme. Okay, so for this one, let's see, I'm gonna put that off to the side. Oh, there we go. Maybe we'll put that there. This one is going to use, it doesn't really have like a card base like that we fold or we score. It's just going to use a piece of thick basic white cardstock. And this measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then what I did is I took another piece of thick basic white cardstock. Now this piece measures 3 by 4 3/4, and I score it at 4 1/4. Basically, you could score it at 1/2 inch. Either way works. And I'm going to burnish this. It's just I sometimes find it hard to be able to get my hand to reach that 1/2 inch without it moving on me. So I usually just go to the further end, and I find that measurement's easier for me to manage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my 1/2 inch tab. Let's glue this onto the bottom of our card front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the score line. Oh, I got to have my glasses on. I cannot see the score line. White on white, I cannot see it. All right. And I'm just going to have it to where it matches right here. And so that is just a really simple flap. Okay. Now we do have this seam right here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of designer series paper. And this measures 4 by 5 1/4, and we are going to glue right there, and it's going to cover most of that seam, so it will be hidden. I see Barbara says that she uses a sponge dauber. That's a good idea too. Such creative and helpful ideas today. You're awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and put that there. Now, while I have this open on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and add my other piece of designer series papers. I actually have two of them. They each measure 2 3/4 by 4. This one with the little bird prints is going to go on the inside. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and add my pine cones. Now, my pine cones, I did manually cut from the designer series paper from one of the paper patterns. I'm going to have one pine cone going one way and the other pine cone going the opposite way. Oops, you can't see that. I am off here in the bottom of my screen, aren't I? Okay. There we go. All right, so that's for the inside. I am going to come back to my sentiment, but I don't want to get there just yet. I want to go ahead and add on my other piece of designer series paper here on the front. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close that up. Now we're going to work with all these really cool little circles. I'm going to move this one out of the way. All right, hopefully you're done with it. If not, come back and watch the replay. Okay, now for this one, we're going to work with the circles. I'm going to start from the front and we're going to work our way backwards. So for this one, now in my sample, I used one of the deckled circles dies, but I realized when I was prepping last night that I sent that particular size circle die to my prep angel, Pat, to do some die cutting for me. So I am substituting with a different circle and it's off brand. It's an old one that I have, but it was close enough. So we're using that one. And I'm going to take an ink pad, my early espresso. And speaking of sponge daubers, I am going to use a sponge dauber. I'm going to ink it up. And I'm just going to add a little bit of aging around the edges here, just to kind of give it a little distressed look. Yeah, it's great. These sponge daubers really protect your fingers from getting all inky. So there we go, just a little bit there around the edges. And then I'm going to, now this one was 2 3/4 inch circle. This one is 3 1/4 inch circle. Now this one is not from the Stylish Shapes dies. It actually comes, I borrowed it from, where did I get it, Deborah? Got it from, and it was in my brain a moment ago. It is from the Spotlight on Nature's dies. That has some really cool concentric circles that you can use, and a lot of them have a really cool little edging around them, and I just love those little kind of dots and dashes on this one, so I thought it would be really pretty accent for today's card. So I'm just going to glue this on flat onto the Pool Party circle. Okay, so for now, what I'm gonna do is now this bird I manually cut out from the paper, and I'm gonna pop it up with dimensionals. All right, now what I want to do next is I want to pop this up with dimensionals, but I want to make sure that I only do it on the lower half and not the upper half so that my recipient can open their card. So I'm going to just flip it over, and then I'm going to add dimensionals just here at the bottom. And then I'm just going to adhere it right here onto my card front. And then now we're going to work with the inside piece. Now for this, I'm going to stamp the sentiment that says sending thanks and much love. Again, in early espresso ink. I'm going to just stamp right here in the middle. And that's it for the stamping. We're not needing the ink pad anymore. The last project doesn't use ink. All right, so now we're going to glue this in flat on the inside. But when we are gluing it, we want to make sure that we position it so that we have that nice little ring. Now, I will tell you a little tip that I just realized. Probably the ideal thing to do would be to put your sentiment in first and then put your outer layers next. Okay, I kind of reversed that. I didn't think about it until just now. And so I would recommend doing this one first and then coming back and then adding this, the bird layer next. Okay. All right. Just a little tip there. Learn from me. All right. I am going to add some embellishment. I did color this in cherry cobbler ink or blends. I'm going to add it right here. I did a double bow this time. And then I'm running out, as you see, I'm like almost essentially out of these gems. So I'm going to switch up my colors here. We're going to use different colors. I think that goes really pretty just as well. All right, put that there. All right, and that is our third project for today. All right, let's see. All right, our last one is the treat holder. So I need to clean up for a moment because things are like everywhere and I'm running out of space. So y'all work on your projects. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll check the comments here in a moment. And then we will work on our last project for today. And then I have a sneak peek for you of my next craft along in December. I can't wait to show you because I'm really excited about it. Does anybody have a favorite card that we've done today so far? I would say it's a toss-up for me between this one and this one. I really, really like this. I like the other one too, but I just really love the color combinations on these two cards. Okay, you like the fun fold. Okay, good. Thank you. Paula likes them all. Cool. All right, so for our last project today, we're going to make this little treat holder. This holds 2 Ghirardelli squares, but like I said, you could add other things, small things into them. Gift card, little treats would be fun. You could add some earrings on a little, card. That would be cute. All right, so I'm going to put this off to the side here in the corner, and then we're going to work on this. Now for this one, I have a template for you, okay? Oh, let me move this so that we don't get confused and I start telling you wrong measurements. All right, let's put that up here in the corner. I'm gonna need a little more room for this project. Okay, so we're going to start off with our box base, which is gonna be this little piece right here where all our little goodies go in. And I did it in cherry cobbler cardstock. Now it's gonna be really hard to see the score lines. So I'm going to share with you a template here. Now the measurements are 4 3/4 by 8 1/2. So you can get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock. Now on the short side, you're going to score at 3/8 of an inch and 4 3/8 of an inch. Now I'm gonna tell you how I did it because I can't get my hand there on that 3/8 of an inch on the left side. So what I do is I do 4 3/8 of an inch. I rotate it and then I do 4 3/8 of an inch as well. That way you end up with essentially, it's the same thing. It's just how you do it. So that's going to be on your short side, your 4 3/4 inch side up against your scoreboard, 3/8, 4 3/8. Then you're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then you're going to score it 2 inches, 2 3/8 inches, and 5 3/4 inches. Then where it says partial score lines, you're going to do a partial score line on each side at 4 3/8 of an inch. So you get 2, 2 3/8, 5 3/4, full score lines, and then partials at 4 3/8. So that is going to be your base template. Then these areas that I have marked off, that is what you're going to cut away because we don't need those pieces. So let me show you how that's going to all work. Here is my template right here, already scored, ready to go. So I am going to cut away. I'm going to snip up. This is the partial score line. Snip that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip off those really long lines. I like to use a longer pair of scissors, but they're across the room. So I'm just going to have to make it work with my paper snips. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So what that's going to do is that's just going to form that wall for me, okay? Before I actually start gluing anything on though, I want to form my tabs here on the bottom. So right here, there's little bitty score lines right there and there. So these are what I call my little tab score lines. So I'm going to notch each of them. I'm going to rotate it and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. All right. I'm going to move this. Let me put that right here. Okay. Now I'm going to burnish my score lines. All right. And before I glue my tabs, I'm going to glue this piece down. So we're going to fold over the flat, glue this down. One is going to add stability by having that extra layer there. And so we're just going to glue that flat. Then we're going to take a piece of designer series paper. Now this is the one with the birch. You can't really tell, but right there in the background, there's the birch wood going on. So we're going to glue this piece right here at the top. Now this piece measures 2 by 3 3/4. We could go a little bit longer if we wanted to, but it's really not going to show. So I would rather conserve my paper. I'm going to glue this at the top. Okay, so when I am done putting my box together, here on the front is where I'm going to have my other piece of designer series paper. So while I'm here, I'm just going to go on ahead and add that on. And this piece measures 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's add this on. There we go. All right, so here we have the inside part, the outside part. Our tabs are here on the side, so I'm going to glue the tab, add a little bit of adhesive right here. I'm going to start and glue the back first. Do the other side, add a little glue to my tab. Again, let's adhere the back first. All right, once that has set up, then you can add glue to each of these side walls here. And that is going to finish up your little treat holder box. All right, so while the glue is setting up, I'm going to work with the other two pieces. And that is this circle, again, with the stylish shapes, dies, and basic beige cardstock. And it measures 2 1/8 in diameter. Again, as you see, you could go bigger on these circles if you wanted. And then I die cut out these really pretty birds on the branch. And I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals. Just put that right there on the circle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, like we did on the last project, we're just going to add dimensionals on the bottom half. And then we're going to pop it up right here. And I'm going to have some of it overhanging the top. And then you just add in a few little Ghirardelli squares and you're good to go. Now, I would recommend maybe tacking these to the back with the mini glue dots so that they don't move around on you. All right. So those are the 4 projects for today. Stay tuned though, because I want to share with you for December's craft along. Really fun. It is a bundle that I have been wanting to play with, and I thought it was the perfect opportunity to do that. So let me bring back in these projects, and then I will share with you next month's craft along. Let's see, here we go. Those are the 4 projects that we did today. No, it's the same one. That is not the right one. We got a duplicate there. All right. There we go, guys. Those are the 4 projects that we made today. So if you are coming, you're hopping on, you hopped on recently, we are wrapping up our craft along for November with the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper and the Winterly Treetops bundle. And so you can come back, watch the replay. Those are really, really simple projects. The products are available in my online store. And so if you are on my email list, I will be emailing you the video link to watch the replay so that you can come back and watch it and craft at your leisure. All right, so I'm going to check comments, and then after I do that, I'm going to share with you the December make and take projects. Yes, please let me know if you have a favorite. I know we talked about the cards, but like, which one do you see that you would be making more of? All right, guys. See, more of you have hopped on. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Okay, I'm going to switch this up, and let's take a look at December's projects. All right, so the registration link is actually currently open right now for the December make and takes. It is going to feature the Sweetest Star bundle. I know when I looked earlier, this punch is on low inventory. So if this has been on your wish list, your shopping list, go order it now before it is gone. All right. That way you can make sure and have it before the craft along. And the craft along will be, instead of on a Thursday, I'm doing it on a Tuesday, December 10th at 2 o'clock Central Time. And so that's a little bit of a date change, but the time will remain the same, again, on my Facebook page or on YouTube. And we're going to make 4 projects. It is going to make a cute little treat box. Now, I will tell you, it's not going to include this treat because you can find these locally, but I wanted to get the little cute little Debbie gingerbread men, and I cannot find them at any of my local stores. Everybody is sold out, but I did find these little brownie Christmas trees, and it works just as well. So that is an option for you. If you can find either the gingerbread or the little brownies, you can put that in there for a cute little treat. The idea for the December projects are treat holders, all right? Because at that point, you've probably already mailed your Christmas cards. And so you may be looking for just little quick gifts. So we're going to make this cute little small gift bag. We're going to also make a little gift tag that doubles as a gift card holder. All right, so you can put a little gift card inside, tie it off, write a message to your recipient. And then the next one's probably my favorite. It is a nail file holder. I found these really cute nail files on Amazon that look like candy canes. So we're going to be making that. Now, let me tell you what's going to be in your project kit. So you will receive the pre-cut project supplies for these 4 projects. You will also receive a half a pack of the designer series paper. It uses the Take a Bow designer series paper. You're going to receive the silver and gold trim, full spools of that, a package of embellishments, and then 1 strip of peppermints. I did order peppermints. Did y'all hear they're back in stock? At least a few moments ago they were. If you want peppermints, you want full packages, add them to your order along with the bundle, okay? But I did order enough so everybody at least gets 1 strip for the project. And it will also include this cute little candy cane nail file. I think I bought all they had this morning. There was only so many left. I ordered them all so that I can make sure and have enough for everybody. So tonight or this afternoon, I will be emailing the replay for today's craft along with the registration link for December's craft along as well. Okay, that way go on ahead, start registering, so that the earlier you register, the sooner I can order your stuff and get it out to you for our craft along in December. All right, guys, y'all take care. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed our craft along today, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Oh, actually tomorrow, I wanted to remind you, let me flip my camera over. All right, so tomorrow, I think pretty much everybody is getting their box, their Snowy Wonder Mystery Box by today. I think the last remaining few were out for delivery today, so check your mailbox if you're still waiting on that. And so tomorrow I'm going to do the reveal of the mystery box. So come back tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Time. Join me for that. And then I'm going to be sharing with you a project using the Sweetest Star bundle to kickstart off our craft along for December. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Bye, guys.